Coach, before the game, you talked about this being a test for this team, and especially going up at one as strong as Boston is. What did you learn about your guys tonight, especially with how they shot the ball from three?
Yeah, well, I think Tatum getting hot early presented problems for us. As you said, the way they shoot it, you're in a tough spot if you want to try to go to hit him and get it out of his hands. That's always one of those decisions that can go either way, and you try to mix it up. And we hit the wall in truth, and that's not. There were a lot of things that we've been doing that against a team that's this good. You have to almost be perfect anyway. And we got some guys that are a little tired, a little banged up, and played against the world champs. So opportunity for us to regroup, go vote, and get back together on Wednesday.
And we rarely see a stat line like we did from Trae. I mean, we know he left the game with that rib injury. Just what do you know or can provide about what his condition is?
Yeah, I'm not honestly the one to try to give you that information. I think what you've heard is what I've heard. He's been playing great. I went in here and banged on the table with you guys a couple games ago, and he's worn down right now. And we got a lot of guys that they're competing, and that's all that you can ask. And try to, as I said, even in a game that is lopsided like this is, if there's things you can take from it, and we'll try to do that. Right now it's you're feeling the sting of a tough loss. It's amazing how last night there's a level of enthusiasm and elation, and then one day later this is the NBA, and the key thing is to just power through it, and that's why they have 82 games.
You spoke to it on defense already, but what did you make of your offensive process? Obviously facing a team that he's going to get up a lot of threes. Were you okay with the offensive process you guys had in the?
No, I think we didn't have the level of force that you have to have against this team, which ended up in some tough shots, some bad shots, and I think our guys would all acknowledge that. There were times in the game where when we did some of the things that we want to do, getting the ball in the paint and trying to break them down and kicking it out, but your offense impacts your defense, whether it's a turnover or a tough shot when they can run against you, and that's compounded in the half court when you have trouble guarding. So there's no one thing tonight. It was obviously a tough night.
Coach, I know you've spoken about this before, but just with a team as physical as Boston is, just how do you guys kind of work on combating that and going against that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one, you guys, to give you a bunch of honest answers off the whole thing. There were times in screening actions and handoffs that they blew them up, and we weren't able to execute, and you just have to try to play with more force, and that's some of that's not magic. We've been doing that, and we didn't do it tonight. Even defensively, we've been playing good defense, and as I said, playing good defense against Boston sometimes isn't enough. I mean, you saw that with some of the shots that Tatum was hitting, and then you can't give them the things that you can control. You have to be nearly perfect in those, whether that's getting back or blocking out or getting open. Everything is more difficult.
Coach, just going on what Brad said, Dyson started off really hot, had 8 points in the first 6 minutes, slashing inside, some layups and things like that, but he didn't score after that. Just wondering how much of that is on him. He needs to be more aggressive. Or
who was that?
Dyson.
Mm-hmm.
And versus you guys trying to run a little bit more, especially on a night when Trae wasn't scoring and you needed some extra offense.
Well, Dyson, and like a lot of our guys, the way that we play, Trae creates for other guys on the team, and they have to make quick decisions. Dyson made some really good moves as he got in the paint. I don't know that there's any magic to that. As far as running plays for someone. There was some of that going on. Oftentimes, we didn't execute in a play, and that had a lot to do with guys like Drew Holiday. That he's made a career of making it hard. So Dyson had a really tough assignment tonight, and this is the second game he's played in quite some time, or not quite some time, in a few games where he's coming back from an injury. And I liked a lot of things that he did. Not every moment was a bad moment, but there were enough of them where we either had breakdowns or they made a play that those things add up over time. And as I said, we need to get some rest, get fresh, and try to come ready to go on Wednesday against another good team.
You've talked a lot about this before with, Zach having ups and downs, but it seems he's still constantly making the right read, even if the shots aren't necessarily going down. What have you seen as far as his continued poise and the hard work that he's been putting in at practice?
Yeah, we haven't had much practice. This is a stretch of a lot of games, but that doesn't mean that you can't prepare. One of the biggest things that we've tried to emphasize with Zach is if he's open, to make sure he shoots it. And off that, his ability to make quick reads, and get in the paint. When we have difficult possessions offensively, we're just playing on the perimeter. And, we have to get into the lane and be strong and get our eyes out. And Zach's one of the guys. Some of it is because he's capable of doing that. And we need that from all guys. That's what you saw in Dyson getting in the lane, which was really good. And if you can do that and force help situations and really create offense for other people, particularly when, Trae was gassed tonight. You could see that early in the first quarter. He was taking some tough shots, and, those are shots that he may make a few of them, but, on a night like tonight, that's going to be hard for us. And he's been, he's the engine for us in those respects that can get us an advantage. So, the other guys have to play off of him. I thought in the third quarter, we started the quarter better offensively. That included, Zach, other guys, making good plays. Ball didn't always go in, but it gave us a chance to defend a little better. Okay.